second Indiana Jones adventure, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Indy and his companions find themselves deep within an underground temple.
Nobody's seen this for 100 years.
It is ruled by the evil Mola Ram, the high priest of a horrifying cult called the Thuggis.
The Thuggee cult in the Temple of Doom is based on a real cult that existed, it's believed, from about the 14th century. The word thug in English comes from that cult. They would travel with people and then murder them. They would trick them and murder them.
In the film, the Thuggis are after 5 sacred Shankara stones, egg-shaped rocks that each provide health and prosperity to all who possess them. But, when brought together, endow their owner with awesome, and in the wrong hands, evil powers. Named after Shankara, the 8th century philosopher credited with reviving Hinduism, the stones in the film are actually based on the Shiva Lingam stones found in the shallow riverbeds of the sacred Narmada River in central India. Shiva Lingam stones represent Shiva, the god of creation, and just as in the film, are worshipped by Hindus for their healing energy. Some even believe them to have godlike powers.
You will become a true believer.
In order to keep their followers in a state of mass hypnosis, the Thuggis force them to swallow hallucinogenic drugs and opiates.
तुम्हारी आंतरियों में शैतानों का खून भर दूंगा.
But just how plausible is this? Were there, in fact, ancient cults who controlled their followers' minds in this way? Deep within the mountains of Peru, archaeologist John Rick is exploring just such a possibility, amidst the remnants of an ancient civilization that existed between 900 and 200 BC, called the Chavin.
Chavin is very much a cult. Cult to me has a lot to do with being in or out. You're in a cult or you're out of a cult. You don't come into a cult easily. You paid a price to come in. Admission wasn't free. We see a lot of evidence of the use of psychoactive plants. Substances that would have been given by the priests to people perhaps coming into the cult of Chavin in an attempt to control their minds. So it's a form of mind control by a priesthood that appears to know just how to use that. So here we are deep in the temple of Chavin. A place like this just goes to show you how real life Indiana Jones is. He would have loved a location like this, full of mysteries. You can imagine priests bringing in here the converts to the cult. You'd be coming in here probably after ingesting drugs. You'd come in the dark. You'd be walking down a passageway that makes no sense to you at all. Coming along, hearing the reverberation of your voice in these spaces.
Step where I step. And don't touch anything.
Sound gets really crazed. Nothing's quite normal in here. You know, you're beginning to see things, be getting ideas.
Go! There, go!
You're here in the side chamber, your eyes are getting accustomed to the dark, but there's no light in here. So your eyes are dilating and dilating. Drugs may be doing part of that on their own. Then, out of nowhere, comes a stream of light, straight down the passageway you came through, and it strikes the lens zone with a raking light that brings out this terrifying object with an engraved image of a grinning combination of human and animal. These priests have something going on. They're reaching into my brain. They're showing me stuff that no human should see. I think it'd be really a terrifying thing, really. Would have led to many of them eventually joining.
Indy! For God's sake, help me! What's the matter with you?
In a terrifying scene in Temple of Doom, the character of Willie comes very close to meeting her own death. when she is strapped to a hanging altar, about to be sacrificed to the god Kali Ma. But is this ritual of bloody sacrifice based more on fact than fiction?